My next guest will be back in action on December the 2nd at UFC Austin when he takes on Melquizael Costa. And of course, it is the mean machine himself, Steve Garcia, back on the show. Steve, how you doing?
Hey man, I'm doing good, man. Thanks for having me on again. It's been a minute, so I'm happy to be on.
Yeah. I was thinking the last time I spoke to you was actually right before you fought Mahashete. So that was a while
Oh,
ago now.
yeah.
Two wins since then. Is there something that maybe happened in that loss that maybe you focused on even more so to become a better fighter and get yourself to where you're at now?
Probably a couple things. One, I probably shouldn't be fighting at 155. At least not too much. I think for fun fights would be, acceptable, but uh, going into that fight was many different things. I had an injury going into that fight that kind of just was like hindering me, and then on top of that, I was definitely the much smaller guy. So, a couple of different things, but man, like. What they tell you is that you learn the more from your losses than you do from your wins and stuff. And I really try to take that to heart, and it's been working for me ever since. So we're putting together some wins, some finishes, and we're looking forward to another one.
What is that cut like to get down to 145 now? How heavy do you get these days?
It just depends how like far out and what I'm doing. I'm Mexican, so I like to eat. That's kind of the problem. But honestly, when I'm like honestly, I'm always training, but when I'm in camp and stuff like that, like it shouldn't be that hard for me to make the weight. When I was going from 155 to 145, like it was a little tough because we had to like kind of figure it out. But luckily, the UFC is probably has one of the best programs with PI and stuff, and they helped me out, and we figured it out, and now we're at 45, striving. So I'm happy about that.
Favorite Mexican dish? What's your go-to?
The stuff sopapilla. I don't know if you guys know what that is,
I do
but
not.
it's a New Mexican thing, really. It's like a big fluffy like fried. It's not a tortilla, but it's like a it's kind of hard to explain. It's just like this like let's just kind of use like a fluffy tortilla. Like when you put it on the stove, like it kind of like pot like bubbles up a little
Yeah.
bit. Think about it like that, but it's you stuff that with like meat and chili and different stuff like that. But that's probably my favorite.
Okay.
Have you ever had it? You never had it?
I have not, but I love Mexican food. Anytime my wife asks me, well, what do you want for dinner? She's on the fence about something. I'm like, tacos. Let's just tacos. I can eat tacos almost every day.
Dude, you can't go wrong with tacos. Tacos, and it depends on where it's from, but honestly, you got to be really, really bad to mess up a taco. So I don't think you can go wrong there.
I know, right? I started, well, it's funny, Weight Watchers recently, just to kind of like, dial in exactly what it is that I'm eating because I want to hit a certain goal weight myself. So my wife and I are doing it together. And it's
Nice.
crazy just how much, even like a little sour cream, how many points to that is as far as Weight Watchers goes.
Sure.
So it's like it really dials you in. You can't eat anything bad.
Yeah, I've never done like Weight Watchers, but like you have to go to like the alternatives almost because they have like low fat
Right.
stuff like that. But I don't know how Weight Watchers works, but definitely like in our world, we try to find things that are close, and they never really taste exactly like how sour cream is or whatever the case is. Like a Coke compared to like a Diet Coke. There's just a difference to me. But every once in a while, like I'll go to the Coke Zero. You know what I mean? And it helps every once in a while kind of get that out of your system, and you find those alternatives, and it helps along the way, man. So keep going, man. The journey is not like a week or two. It takes a
Right.
long time for you to get to your goals. So keep at
100%.
it.
Yeah, well, it's good that we're not talking about food during weight cut week. So at least I got you a little bit before then. Man, I got to tell you, your fight against Chase Hooper, how you looked at in that performance. I mean, for my money, it was the best you've ever looked. I mean, is that kind of the feedback that you got from your team on that fight?
They just kind of they were just waiting for that. They're just, because they see that happen, not necessarily in the gym. I don't beat people down like that in the gym, but they see the potential that I have. And obviously, like I said, like I try to take care of my training partners and stuff like that, but they were definitely very like it's about time like people got to see that, you know what I mean? And especially in the UFC. So I was grateful that, I was able to finally be able to go out there, showcase my skills. I feel like people really got to see that I can really get down, I can, throw some heat, and I know how to finish the fight. So majority of my records are finishes, and to finish someone like Chase Hooper, who's a high prospect at the time, and it's funny because we kind of swapped seats. He's going up to 55, and I'm coming down to 45. So we're just making adjustments here in our careers, and I still wish him the best. He was a good dude, and I got nothing bad to say about the guy.
Yeah, I mean, again, your performance, wow, that was one heck of a win there. You follow that up, you go at UFC 287 in Miami, round two uppercut to the body over Nerdenbeek there. Is your confidence right now at an all-time high?
I'd say it's pretty high. I just have really high expectations for myself, so maybe that's kind of what always keeps me grounded and humble. I try to be, at least, and every once in a while, like, your ego can get in the way and stuff, and as long as you can control that, as long as you can maintain like composure. But I will say, my confidence it's pretty high right now. I feel good that, whoever I face, I can make it one hell of a fight no matter who it is. And I honestly feel like I can finish a lot of these guys too. So that's how I feel right now.
What was it like fighting in Miami on that 287 card?
Dude, the whole entire thing was electric. The card obviously was stacked, on itself, and I kind of was like the not necessarily the opener. I think I was like the second or third fight or whatever the case is. But to open a card like that was pretty cool. I mean, just wait till they see how I finish them, because that's gonna come around the corner. Not too far ahead of myself, but that's gonna happen. And man, they just the whole thing was electric. Adesanya, getting his not his revenge, but winning that fight. Masvidal's, I think, last fight was kind of crazy to, well, MMA and the UFC, but and then everybody else was cool. I mean, whether you like him or not, like, Trump was there, so like the whole crowd went crazy. It just, like, the whole energy in that whole entire building was on fire. So,
Mm.
like, it was awesome to from start to finish.
I watched that whole event at a sports book here in New England where I live, and I hit on a 7 fight parlay. And you
Oh,
you
nice.
you were part of that parlay. So for what it's worth, man, you helped me win a little coin.
Let's
Um,
go.
Pereira is trying to win a belt in another division now, right around the corner. Do you think he gets it done, or are you picking against him in this fight?
He's fighting Pajaka, right?
Yeah, yeah,
That's what
Yuri.
it is. I think he has a good chance, to be honest. I do. I don't. I mean, I think he fought Blanc. It was Blankovic, his last fight, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a tough test in itself, and he did pretty well. I think it could have went either way on that fight. Um, and Jerry's like he's good, but like you don't know what you're gonna get. You know
mm,
what I mean? And like Perez, honestly, he's been pretty consistent. Obviously, besides him fighting Adesanya, but yeah, man, I do think that Pereira probably can pull this off. His chance of pulling it off are a lot higher, I think, than not.
yeah. I actually think Pereira is going to finish him. I mean, he's so technical,
Sure.
and his strikes come right down the pipe. And Prohaska, it can be a little bit of a wild man. And so if he
Yeah.
leaves some openings up, you don't want to do that against Pereira.
If you get the Berserker that showed up against what's his name? He fought Jon Jones. Uh
Oh, you're thinking about Reyes?
yeah. Dominic
Yep.
Reyes. If you get that one, he's gonna win the fight for sure.
Okay.
But you get someone who fights, Glover, where it's kind of up and down, like you said, kind of gets kind of wild. I think that, Pereira should take that.
Outside of your fight here in December, what's the fight you're looking forward to seeing the most the remaining of this calendar year?
Honestly, the one I was looking forward to is no longer happening. It was the Jon Jones and TPA fight. So like that part, kind of that would have been my go-to. But what other ones are there out there that you think are pretty big?
Colby and Leon at the end of the year. That's probably the one that I have circled.
That's a good one. Uh yeah, that's a style matchup for sure.
Mm,
I'm tuning in, so
yeah.
we can add that to the list.
Yeah, no doubt. Lot of great fights to be had. You mentioned Jon Jones, so let me ask you. Obviously, you're at Jackson Wink, one of the best gyms on planet Earth. Have you seen him much? Like, has he still been in and out of the gym there? Or I guess I'm not sure exactly where he's at now.
So like a long time ago, there was we used to be at Jackson's Acoma, and it was, obviously just off a street named just Acoma, and I think it was like San Mateo, and that was the old Jackson's gym. And so when we moved to where we're at now, which is the Jackson Academy, um, we changed management to different things, and that's where we're at now. But he went to the old gym, and I guess he's kind of running his things out of that gym, since the separation between him and like Mink and stuff.
Mhm.
But me and John are so cool. Like we don't have any issues or anything like that. And every once in a while, like he'll shoot me a message or like he'll like my stuff or something like that, and vice versa. So we're in good standings. He loves my dad, and anytime we can have a conversation, we'll have a conversation. If we run into him at a store, or we ran into him before, like at a restaurant or something like that, we just yeah, what's up, that type of thing. But um, I'll tell you what, he was a leader in the gym when he was there, and when he was there, like you just knew, and he didn't like have this ego about him that like a lot of people may see or think, but man, he's this guy could in the gym, in
Mhm.
the gym, he was one of the toughest grinders that you could face, and just a force, you know what I mean? Outside the gym, obviously everybody kind of knows that stuff, that the media puts out there, but I don't know that part of him.
Mhm. I'm assuming you would have picked him over Stipe. What would your prediction have been?
I think he would have finished Stipe. I think he would have finished Stipe. I think that Stipe Stipe's good. He has good boxing, good takedown defense. But I honestly think that Johns would have just like kind of mauled him, kind of like how Shogun did. But I do think that like he would probably punish Stipe a little bit more with ground and pound. His elbows from the top are insane. Like
Mm.
nobody, I mean, I guess everybody does know that, but man, just like some of the shots he's caused to like when he fought Shogun, when he fought Vera, when he fought all these guys, when if he's landing ground and pound on you, like you can't take too many of those. And I think that's what would happen.
Yeah, I could totally see that happening. I would have went with Jones myself. Steve, you were supposed to fight in August, if I'm not mistaken. You're going to be taking on Sean Woodson. What happened there? Why didn't that fight come to fruition?
Just kind of appear like a little bit of stupidity on my end. I think as fighters, like you said, like we try not to have ego, but sometimes your ego puts you in check, and things happen. But it was like a two-part thing. So like our grapplings are on a Tuesday, and then we have wrestling on a Wednesday morning. And so like Tuesday night, we were grappling or whatever, and we had a good session. I actually started getting put into like a twister, and me being a dummy, you know what I mean. But this ego that like rides on my shoulder, I didn't want to tap. I got out of it. I was proud about it, but man, my back was like, it was hurting. And so I was like, man, and I normally have a regimen that I do like right after grappling. I have like this whole like workout afterwards. And that night, I couldn't move really good. My back was bothering me like, pretty bad. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna, I'll sleep it off. I'll wake up in the morning, I'll feel better. And so we'll fast forward to that morning. I woke up, still felt crappy, it was not good. But, I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, I should probably just take this day off. I was like, my back's bugging me, but then that like, the ego or whatever, just like, hey bro, don't be a punk, dude. Go to wrestling. And our wrestling practices aren't like we kind of switched to a like a Russian style format of wrestling. So we had 2 hour long wrestling practices, and about an hour in, my back was just like bugging me pretty bad. And one of my buddies just we're working from like a single leg, just a single leg, just um, like defense. And my buddy like went to like he like tried to tree top me, it didn't happen, and then he tried to like sweep my leg out underneath me, and my body just wouldn't react. And when I landed like on my side, and like I don't know, it's like kind of like twisted my body, and I got like stuck there for like a good like 30 seconds, and I just couldn't do anything with like my back. So I went to the PI, they tried to work me out. We tried to figure things out. Long story short, um had a discussion with them, and they're just like, you know what, man, like you're probably not gonna do uh not necessarily great in the fight, but you might be showing up in pieces if you continue with this fight. So I don't want to do that. I want to go in there. I want to be prepared, and I understand injuries happen, but an injury like that takes you out, it definitely could hinder my performance. So I definitely don't want to risk that. So um, it was tough for me not to be able to fight because prior to that it was in April, so I wanted to get like right back in there. So it is what it is. We're here now, and we're looking forward. You know,
How
as far as
long did that keep you off of training? Like, were you on the shelf for like multiple weeks?
about a month.
Oh
So
wow.
like after that had happened, I think that happened like 3 weeks prior to my fight with Sean Woodson. And so when that had happened, I probably didn't even get back onto the mats until like a week and a half, almost 2 weeks before I even started. Like I didn't even grapple. I probably started grappling about a month and a half to 2 months after that. But when I was able to start kind of striking, and all that stuff, I was probably about 3 weeks where I felt comfortable throwing a punch and doing all that stuff. But it took me a while to kind of get back on the mats, like grappling and wrestling, because definitely my back was definitely struggling and flared up. But we're good now. I'm not worried about it. We're ready to go. We're confident that we can handle anything. So we're in a better spot.
Perfect. Man, I was looking forward to that Woodson matchup. I'm assuming that's a fight that maybe you'd like the UFC to rebook down the line.
100%, 100%. I was actually, I was a little disappointed because, man, like I do like I saw Sean Woodson, and I knew he's quality, and I felt like he didn't bring his best. I know he had multiple opponent changes, which that can kind of throw you off for sure. But I think that Sean Woodson's a better fighter than what he showed up that fight. Um, yeah, man. I mean, I have my own like criticism on it, but I'll keep that to myself. I just think that that was the best Sean Woodson. So um, I would like to get that fight back if that's possible. Um, yeah, man. I just at this point he's not my focus. I have
Sure.
this Costa guy, and we'll look at things afterwards, and he'll be on the list, maybe not. But all I know is this guy, Costa's gonna try to hurt me, and that's something I ain't gonna let happen. So
All right.
that's
Tell
where
me how camp's been, man. Like, who have you had around you this camp to help get you ready for Costa?
well, because he's southpaw, so like we had to get like a couple different southpaws. So, I have a couple buddies. Andrew Tennyson, he's a southpaw. I have another buddy. He's in Bellator. His name's Isaiah. Um, who else? I don't know too many other like names that are kind of out there. Um, that are southpaws that everybody really really know. I also have people like Breezy who fights southpaw and right-handed, and he's he was LFA champ.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Chris
I
Brown.
just have a yeah, Chris
Yep.
Brown. So like I have
Yep.
a bunch of guys that are also switching stances for me, giving me the looks that I need, and I feel strong, I feel good, and I'm I feel like I'm getting prepared, and come fight night, we'll be ready.
UFC Austin. This is going to be a fun one, man. The fans are going to be going nuts, I'm sure. But how excited are you to be competing in Austin?
Dude, I'm like super pumped. I have a ton of family out there, which people don't know. Well, I guess people there know, but it's gonna be cool because people are like actually hitting me up like, "Hey, man, are you selling tickets?" I'm like, "No, bro. Like, we're not at that point anymore. Like, you're gonna have to go into the website. You're gonna have to buy those tickets. Because when you fight regionally, you're the one selling tickets, and other promotions, they'll give you a little promo code. I'm like, nah, dude, like." Just go on the website, buy those tickets. Because we arrived, we're here. You know what I mean? So now you get the full experience. And then a lot of those family members, they've never even been to an event. So for their first experience to be in a UFC event, watching, another family member fight, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's really exciting. And you got a tough opponent. I mean, he's 1-1
Yeah.
in the UFC. You mentioned he's a southpaw. What are you expecting here in this fight? Is this going to be a dog fight, or do you feel like you're going to be able to kind of outclass him regardless of where the fight goes?
I think wherever the fight goes, I can outclass him. But not to take away his skill set on the feet, I feel like that's his strongest suit. Um, he has the southpaw advantage, which most people aren't as comfortable, I guess, fighting. Um, so I'm kind of curious to see how he's going to be because I'm a southpaw, and now it's going to be kind of just like this. Um, it's almost like we're a righty versus righty fight. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. But I haven't seen him fight too many southpaws. I've obviously fought. I don't know if Ontiveros was one, but I know Chase Hooper was one for sure. Sean Woodson, I think, switched a little bit, but um, I fought in, and I think Pena, Luis Pena was a southpaw too. So I fought in a couple. I felt pretty comfortable at this point fighting them. And what's actually kind of nice is that they're not above 6 foot, so that's kind of nice because all my other ones were like 6 foot besides Nordenbeck. And I think that this fight is really going to be a gunslinger for like a good maybe round. And I think at some point I plan to just start taking over. That's what is just gonna happen. Just because it's just gonna be a takeover. I feel like after I hit him with a couple different shots, he's gonna start thinking, probably a shot or two, and on a takedown or something like that, and work from there. And it's just gonna just this momentum is just gonna start, taking over for me, and I'm gonna be able to not necessarily run through him, but have my way with him.
So another stoppage victory for yourself. You're going to keep that theme going.
I'm always looking for a stoppage, man. Like I don't even feel like I win a fight when I win a decision. You know what I mean? Um, it's a terrible way to win to me. You know what I mean? I feel like I just need more time. When you win, I just need a little more time. I was like, I'll get him. Just it is what it is. But I'll take a win as it is because that means I get my second check, and we all love that, don't we? So I'll take it.
Of getting that money. Your current contractual status with the UFC. How many fights do you have left on your deal?
I think my my last fight was the first one of my new one.
Okay.
So second contract, first fight. So this will be my second fight on my second contract.
And you get another win here. That'll be three in a row. As far as next year goes, when you look forward to 2024, where do you see yourself, Steve? Do you feel like, you could be kind of getting closer to, maybe like the back end of the top 15? You could get like a matchup that could break you in potentially.
Dude, I feel like I'm like getting closer and closer. Like the way I win is what matters, I think. And if I can get another finish, I feel like that's just one step closer to the top 15. Um, I do feel like I'm a dark horse in there. People are just kind of like, he's good, but I don't, let's see, but I don't know if as long as everything goes, according to my plan, you know what I mean? I would like to finish, Costa and then possibly have another fight maybe in March. We have a couple trips planned for next year, which um, kind of just happened. So I definitely want to get in March and then maybe like in July. But I would like to maybe either press, a little bit harder on someone maybe like Darren Elkins or like a Nate Lander. Like I would love a fight with Nate Lander. That would be such a fun fight. I feel like he's getting a little bit of clout. Um, he's good. I think that he's knocking on that door too. I think he just lost a fight. I'm not too sure to who, but yeah, he's knocking on that door just like I am, but he's a little bit further ahead. So I beat him. It just that ladder. You're climbing and stuff. So um, I'm just gonna make it hell for everybody on the way up.
Yeah, no doubt. Looking forward to it. I'm sure one of those matchups will happen at some point down the road. Last thing for me before we get out of here, I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on Volk as the champ at 145, and if there's anyone right now that you see that can beat him, or is he going to remain the champ for a while until maybe he decides to walk off into the sunset?
I'm kind of curious to see like what his move is because the only person that can really like give it to him is Holloway. I feel like one of those fights that they had, he did win. I feel like Holloway did win that one. I think it was the second one. The first one, I think that could have went either way. Second one, Holloway won. Third one, definitely, Volk won. So I feel like as and nobody wants to see that. You know what I mean? I feel like Holloway's probably is like best contender currently. And then you have I guess Tapera, right? He's the next guy.
Yeah,
He's the
Taporia.
next
Yeah.
guy. I'm kind of curious. The guy seems good. He's good. I mean, he's obviously fought pretty well. I think that you know he might be the next guy to give him some issues. I'm not too sure. Brian Ortega gave him some issues. Put him in some submissions that
Yeah.
were pretty deep. You know what I mean? So I feel like that might be his go. I just feel like within Volk's next 5 fights, he's gonna move to 50 fights. That's what I feel. If I was him, that would be my move. Unless you have different goals and you're just trying to keep that belt and then try to keep
Yeah.
fighting at 55. But I have a lot of respect for Volk. He wasn't my favorite because Holloway was my favorite, and he earned my respect, man. He really did, and not that he needed it, but I just, as a fan, that's what I saw, and I was like, man, I was like, this guy, dude, he's just this little guy that just does not quit. He brings it every time, and who knows, maybe one day we can scrap. You know what I mean? So I'd love to do that, and I think a fun fight would be with Max Holloway and myself. You know what I mean? So I
Mhm.
love those two guys. I always wanted one fight I always really wanted to. I thought it would have been super fun. It can't happen anymore, but would be the Korean Zombie.
Ooh,
I feel like
yeah.
I feel like that would have been such a fun fight, with me because I feel like we're both kind of like these guys that just don't quit. We just keep going and almost like this zombie like type of mentality where I'm like, dude, you better put me out like in order for me to stop coming. So that would have been a fun fight, but I don't know. I don't want to look too far ahead because I got to stay focused on what's in
Mhm.
front of me, and we'll just keep inching our way up, and then whoever's at the top, we'll definitely give them some hell. But until I get there, I can't really say too much.
Fair enough. Well, one thing's for certain, you definitely have a very fan-friendly style. I know the people out there love watching you compete. Can't wait to see you back in there, Steve. Again, December the 2nd, UFC Austin. Great talking to you again, my man. Before we do sign off here today, I want to give you the floor. If there's anyone you want to thank, anything you want to plug, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me on. Always number one, God is good. Number two, I love my family. You guys are awesome, and everybody out there that's coming out to support the family, support the fights, support everybody. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys so much, and I can't wait to see you guys out there in Austin. If you're not in Austin, make sure to tune in. It's gonna be great.